The Krell-Vashon War had raged for 700,000 years, consuming entire star systems and reducing civilizations to cosmic dust. By the time humanity discovered faster-than-light travel, the conflict had become a fundamental law of the galaxy, as inevitable as gravity, as eternal as the stars themselves. Arabella Chen stood on the bridge of the USS Stardestroyer, her dark eyes scanning the holographic display that showed the warring fleets locked in yet another brutal engagement near the Helios Nebula. As the ship's xenodiplomat, she had spent 3 months trying to understand why two advanced species would commit mutual genocide for millennia. "Captain, we're receiving distress signals from both Krell and Vashon civilian colonies in the combat zone," reported Chester Ward from the tactical station. The young lieutenant's voice carried the exhaustion they all felt. Estimated casualties in the millions within the hour. Captain Rodriguez leaned forward in his command chair, his weathered face illuminated by the red alert lights. "Miss Chen, any progress on those peace talks?" Arabella shook her head, frustration evident in her tight jaw. "Neither side will even acknowledge why they're fighting anymore, sir. 700,000 years of oral tradition, lost records, and cultural mythology. The original cause is buried under eons of hatred," Chester's console chirped urgently. "Captain, both fleets are positioning for another planet-killer exchange. They're going to sterilize 4 inhabited worlds." The captain's knuckles whitened on his armrest. Humanity had only been among the stars for 50 years, newcomers in a galaxy that treated them with bemused tolerance. The Galactic Council had made it clear, stay out of the eternal war. It wasn't humanity's concern, but Arabella had watched the intelligence reports. She'd seen children, Krell and Vashon children, crying in refugee camps. She'd read the projections showing that within another 1,000 years, both species would be extinct, taking dozens of neighboring civilizations with them. "Captain," Arabella said quietly, "I have an idea, but you're not going to like it." Rodriguez met her gaze. "I'm listening." "What if they don't remember why they're fighting because there never was a good reason? What if we show them how pointless this is?" Chester turned from his station, confusion creasing his brow. "How? They've been trying to annihilate each other since before humans discovered fire." Arabella's lips curved into a grim smile. "Exactly. Chester, how long would it take the Stardestroyer to disable both fleets using EMP bursts and targeted strikes on weapons systems only?" The lieutenant's fingers danced across his console, running calculations. His eyes widened. "With our quantum targeting systems and the fact that their shields are calibrated for each other's weapons, not ours, 45 minutes, maybe 50. But Captain, that would be an act of war against both sides. Or an act of peace," Arabella countered. "We're not destroying them. We're giving them a timeout." Captain Rodriguez stood slowly, the weight of the decision pressing down on him like a physical force. He thought of Earth, of the countless wars humanity had fought over religion, resources, and pride. He thought of how many of those conflicts in hindsight seemed utterly senseless. "If we do this," he said carefully, "humanity becomes the enemy of both sides. The Galactic Council will condemn us. We could start a war with 2 civilizations simultaneously. Or," Arabella said, stepping closer, "we could end one." The bridge fell silent except for the hum of the ship's systems and the distant thunder of the battle raging outside. Captain Rodriguez looked at his crew, humans who had left Earth to explore, to learn, to help. They hadn't come to the stars to stand idle while genocide unfolded before their eyes. "Tactical, this is a direct order," Rodriguez said, his voice steady. "Disable both fleets. Non-lethal force only. We save as many lives as possible." Chester's hands moved with practiced precision. "Aye, Captain. Beginning operation. God help us all." The USS Stardestroyer, humanity's most advanced warship, moved like a predator through the debris field. Human technology, developed in isolation from galactic norms, had evolved along radically different paths. Where ancient species relied on energy shields, humans had perfected kinetic barriers. Where they used plasma weapons, humans employed electromagnetic pulse cannons that treated advanced electronics like a virus treats a cell. Arabella watched the tactical display as Chester worked with terrifying efficiency. Krell dreadnoughts went dark, their systems fried. Vashon carriers tumbled through space, powerless but intact. Within 30 minutes, half of both fleets drifted helplessly. "Incoming transmission," the communications officer announced. "Both sides are demanding we cease fire and withdraw." They're threatening to... Oh, they're threatening to unite against us. Captain Rodriguez allowed himself a small smile. Interesting. First time they've agreed on anything in 700,000 years. Continue, Lieutenant Ward. Chester's fingers never stopped moving. 20 more ships disabled. Both flagships are now within range. Arabella held her breath as the final phase began. The flagship of the Krell Dominion and the command carrier of the Vashon Empire, symbols of eternal hatred, simultaneously went dark. Their weapon systems carefully neutralized while life support remained intact. 47 minutes after beginning the operation, Chester looked up from his console. All hostile vessels disabled, Captain. 0 casualties on any side. The bridge erupted in relieved cheers, but Arabella's work was just beginning. She opened a communication channel that would broadcast to every ship, every colony, every outpost of both civilizations. Krell Dominion, Vashon Empire. This is Arabella Chen of the human vessel USS Stardestroyer. For the past 47 minutes, a single ship from a species that discovered space travel 5 decades ago has rendered your combined fleets completely powerless. We could have destroyed you. We chose not to. She paused, letting that sink in. For 700,000 years you have fought over something neither of you can even remember. You have killed trillions. You have orphaned worlds. And for what, pride? Ancient grudges that no longer have meaning? We humans have a saying, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. But perhaps those who cannot forget the past are condemned to never escape it. Chester pulled up imagery of the disabled fleets, of the civilian worlds that had been spared. You now have a choice, Arabella continued. You can rebuild your fleets, hunt down humanity, and resume your eternal war. Or you can accept that if one young species can end your conflict in under an hour, perhaps that conflict was never worth fighting. Captain Rodriguez added his voice. Humanity offers its services as neutral mediators. We have no stake in your ancient grievances. We only wish to stop the dying. The choice is yours. The silence that followed stretched for agonizing minutes. Then impossibly a transmission came from the Krell flagship. Then another from the Vashon carrier. 2 leaders who had never spoken except to deliver ultimatums now requested to speak with the human peacekeepers. Arabella looked at Chester, who returned her gaze with cautious hope. They had just changed galactic history. Whether they had made it better or worse remained to be seen. But for the first time in 700,000 years, the eternal war had fallen silent.